the most common transaction and meet the transactions that, you might think, well, I don't have any business going on, okay? For the whole past years, the company is just in this like a frozen state, like sleep state for a year. But you know what? You still need to file it, right? You need to attach it because as long as you form that company, right? You form that company and you contribute the startup capital to that company, For example, last year you contribute the LC, also, distribute some of the money back to its owner, okay? So basically it's a contribution as well as distribution. You know what? That is a typical example of other transactions, okay? You need to attach that, add that to the attachment, all right? And of course, dissolution payment. If unfortunately last year, right, this company may be started many years ago, but last year unfortunately this dissolute, right, goes to the dissolution, and you know what, the last payment paid back to the owner. You know what? That is also not just contribution, distribution are reportable under this part. Okay, so basically you have to describe each transaction clearly, whether it's a contribution, right, whether it's a distribution, including each of it, the dollar amount. I'm going to show you later, but right now I'm going to explain all these different items. All right, so let me just show you this example here, right? So for example, there is a foreign owner, right? Foreign owner contribute all these amounts to the LLC. So there is a foreign person here. Let me make myself a little bit smaller, okay? Maybe let's just make myself a little bit smaller. Maybe here, okay? Maybe just smaller. That's better. Okay, this let me bring myself a little bit up. Okay, I don't want myself to be this low. Okay, so yeah, so let's do that. So for example, this is the foreign owner. Okay, I'm going to say foreign owner, and then you contribute this amount, $100,000, right, to this LLC. But this is the foreign owner. Okay, so yeah, and then maybe this is like happened at that time of the year. This is the whole year at that time of the year, for example, June, whatever. Okay, that specific time you need to record that. This is a contribution, so it's like a pay inside of this $100,000 to that company. And then you know what? Later, maybe I don't know, October, this company, through a little bit of operations and all that, you know what? Even though it did not earn money, right? It may be just lose a lot of money, but you know what? The owner want that money back, right? They can distribute, of course. They can distribute $20,000, okay? Or if they earn a lot of money and after all this reinvestment and all that, still, you know what? This single member want to say, hey, I want to get my, distribution. So you can still receive this amount of money. But the tax treatment is a tiny little bit different. So you have to worry about that. But right now, thinks this is just a sort of information return. Okay, you need to just report information. So right now, we're just worry about the specific time and the detail as well as the number here. Okay, so then this LLC distribute back. So that's like a 200 transaction. Both are reportable. Okay, so you have to report both. You have to make this sort of show in this attachment, and you have to attach that. Okay, and you have to have a separate statements. So as I said, personally, I would just add a tons of description, so everything makes sense. Just not everything, okay? Not just I go there, I talk to this potential client, something like that, and then pay that client, something like that. You don't need to go to that detail, okay? But you need to know, hey, at a certain time, and I contribute certain money to this company as a startup fund, right? As a startup capital contribution. And then sometimes you may lend this company, right? You may lend this company, and then company have to pay back to you. Okay? You may lend this company as a kind of loan. You know what? Let's consider this as well. Okay, you have to ask your accountants about what kind of thing that you want to classify. This is the where expertise comes in. Okay, sometimes you may want to classify this as a capital contribution. Most of the time, it's better to have this as a capital contribution. Of course, if you under some specific circumstances, you say, wait, I don't want to contribute to capital. I want to lend a loan. As long as it's like the market price of that loan, you need to pay back with interest. You know what? You can do that with a loan. Okay, but you know what? You need to make this statement. You need to describe this. You need to sort of tell the story. That is the truth, and the rest is, we'll understand what's going on.